The headlines of VTV News. Prime Minister's state visit to intensify a Vietnam-India comprehensive strategic partnership. Strategies to sustain export momentum amid rising sea freight rates. And later on in our world news, Hamas political leader is killed in Iran.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of VTV News, coming live to you from Hanoi. You're with me, Lina Pham, and here's the top news of the hour. State President Tô Lâm, head of the Judicial Reform Steering Committee, acknowledged the results of the committee's recent activities. It has closely followed the party's policies and guidelines, effectively implementing many important tasks related to judicial reform. The State President requested that the Central Internal Affairs Committee, the standing agency of the Steering Committee, closely coordinate with relevant agencies to promptly submit the project, organization, and operation of the Central Judicial Reform Steering Committee to the Politburo for consideration and approval. This project aims to continue maintaining the organization and operation of the steering committee. The State President also requested the Central Internal Affairs Commission to work with relevant agencies to develop a plan and key work programs for judicial reform until the end of the term. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính state visit to India from July the 30th to August the 1st aims to strengthen the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries in various areas, addressing current geopolitical and economic changes. This visit is the first by a Vietnamese or Indian Prime Minister to each other's countries since the two sides established their comprehensive strategic partnership in 2016. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính is also one of the first foreign leaders to visit India since the country held the Lok Sabha or lower house election and its new government took office. The trip aims to expand ties in fields where both sides have potential and strengths, such as electronics, telecommunications, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, renewable energy, green economy, digital economy, AI, semiconductors, new materials, and essential minerals. Bilateral trade has increased 2.5-fold since the upgrade of the bilateral ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership, reaching nearly $15 billion in 2023. The Prime Minister will also deliver an important policy speech at the Indian Council of World Affairs, attend the Vietnam-India Business Forum, and meet with many chairmen and CEOs of leading Indian corporations and enterprises. Moving on to other economic news, the total export turnover of agricultural, forestry, and fishery products in the first 7 months reached more than $35 billion, an increase of nearly 19% over the same period last year. The trade surplus of these products reached nearly $9.5 billion, an increase of 60%. The average export prices of commodities such as rice, coffee, rubber, pepper, and tea continue to grow well. In terms of export markets, the U.S., China, and Japan remain the three largest markets for Vietnamese agricultural, forestry, and fishery products. Although the wood industry's export orders are abundant, businesses face the challenge of freight rates increasing 2 to 3 times compared to the beginning of the second quarter. Many solutions have been deployed to optimize transportation costs, ensuring orders and production efficiency.
The cost of shipping a container of goods to the US or Europe has increased from less than $3,000 in April to the current $8,000 to $10,000. To maintain orders, businesses have had to lower prices and optimize shipping costs.
Although we mainly follow free on-board export, when freight rates increase, importers must negotiate with exporters to adjust prices.
We designed to maximize the quantity and size of the products packed in the container to reduce logistics costs.
Many solutions are being implemented to support businesses in finding new markets, with a focus on trading with nearby markets to reduce pressure from high transportation costs.
In addition to developing traditional export markets, we are looking for niche and potential markets such as India, the Middle East, Africa, and even ASEAN to facilitate access to markets where Vietnamese businesses have advantages.
We'll arrange for empty containers to ensure production needs are met. From now until the last 6 months of the year, freight rates have peaked, and shipping lines are adjusting prices downward.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade is working to control domestic maritime service prices and supplement technological solutions to effectively circulate empty containers, thereby helping to reduce transportation costs.
In the first 7 months of this year, Vietnam's total export turnover of agricultural, forestry, and fishery products reached more than $34.3 billion. Notably, wood exports maintained their growth momentum, reaching $8.78 billion, an increase of nearly 22%. The demand for wooden products is expected to be even higher in the last few months of the year, creating opportunities for Vietnamese enterprises to boost production.
Thanks to its proactive efforts to explore new markets, this company has seen a 15% increase in wood export volume. About 80 containers are exported each month.
The Indian market has emerged as a new market. Japan also holds a lot of potential for businesses. The wood market will continue to thrive compared to the beginning of the year.
According to the Vietnam Timber and Forest Products Association, the number of wood orders increased by 22% in the first half of the year. Some businesses even have orders until almost the end of the year. Tariff barriers have been removed thanks to free trade agreements, boosting the competitiveness of Vietnamese wood products. Despite many advantages, the wood industry also faces challenges in meeting green standards like anti-deforestation, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and ecological design in major markets.
Tax reduction welcomes export businesses, but to enter these markets, we must follow regulations. Currently, the EU is issuing many rules related to the environment and labor, requiring Vietnamese enterprises to adopt a systematic approach in production.
In 2024, the wood and forestry industry aims to export $17.5 billion. This target is considered feasible given the current growth rate.
Thanks to its abundant land resources, Da Nang is one of the leading provinces in the southeast region for attracting high-tech agricultural investment. Notably, local businesses are actively using new technologies to develop sustainable agriculture, aiming to significantly advance the province economy.
This irrigation machine is one of the most modern in Vietnam, using center pivot irrigation technology directly imported from Israel. Its special design ensures the nozzles attached to the rotating pivot evenly distribute water over an 80-hectare sugarcane field in just one day.
If we didn't have this machine, irrigation would be very difficult. We would have to use traditional methods such as spraying or open flooding, which are labor-intensive and slow. We have been using drones, aerial monitoring, and app-based monitoring for 2 years now. We've seen a significant increase in sugarcane productivity. This year, compared to last year, it has increased by 20 tons per hectare.
Than Long Farm is not only the largest in terms of area in Tay Ninh province, but also a leader in developing high-tech agriculture combined with mechanization. The project to plant South American bananas on a 156-hectare scale at this farm is expected to continue creating new opportunities for the province's agriculture by diversifying export markets with green, clean, and high-quality products.
We are exporting to markets such as Japan, Korea, Malaysia, and Singapore, and are targeting some Middle Eastern markets. Currently, we are applying technologies like harvesting cables and anti-collapse cables. Compared to traditional methods, we have reduced labor by 50%. If 1 hectare currently uses 2 labor units, previously it needed 2.5 to 3 units per hectare.
For businesses investing in high-tech agriculture, we support the implementation of Viet Gap or Global Gap standards. If businesses want to adopt these standards, the government will cover most of the costs, with the businesses contributing a small portion. Additionally, we support them with preferential loan policies.
Tay Ninh has also recently approved their project to build high-tech agricultural production areas, which includes the development of 22 high-tech agricultural zones. Notably, there are 7 key projects in the high-tech agriculture complex, funded by a joint venture between the De Hoos Group from the Netherlands and the Hung Nguyen Group, with a total investment of 2,500 billion Vietnam dong, approximately 105 million US dollars.
And before we move to the next part of VTV News, let's check out how the Vietnam dong is weighed against other currencies in the world market today. Coming up next, residents of Hanoi's flooded outskirts struggle to stabilize lives. And Bình Định province establishes community group to protect sea turtles. Last night and this morning, many places in the mountainous and midland region of the north experienced moderate to heavy rain, causing landslides and flooding in Thái Nguyên, Tuyên Quang, Bắc Cạn, and Quảng Ninh. Today and tomorrow, these regions will continue to have heavy rain, with total rainfall ranging from 30 to 70 millimeters and locally over 200 millimeters. There is a high risk of flash floods on small rivers and streams and landslides on mountain slopes. Due to the heavy rain, the water levels of the Thao and Go rivers are rising rapidly. The flood peak on the Thao River in Yên Bái is likely to reach alert level 1 early tomorrow morning. The Go River is likely to reach level 2 tomorrow afternoon. Over 1,000 residents in Nam Phương Tiến Commune, Trường Mỹ district in Hanoi outskirts were flooded following Storm Prapirun. Nearly 700 households in the most severely affected areas have been evacuated. The locality has deployed measures to support and provide the locals with daily food and necessities. More to follow.
The deepest flooded area is 3 meters deep. Lit houses are in safe areas, while households in dark areas have been evacuated. This man drives his neighbors in his boat. He stacks all his belongings in a higher place. A neighbor helps him buy vegetables.
Our neighborhood is very close-knit. Those who have boats help everyone get to the dike so they can go to work. I could ask them to pick up some greens for me when they're on their way home. They're glad to help.
We fenced the chicken coop as soon as the water rose. 135 hectares of rice and many other crops in the Nam Phương Tiến commune were completely lost. The whole village has been struggling with the flood for nearly a week. All the children have been sent to stay with relatives.
We listened to the loudspeaker and moved to higher places. Property was damaged, but people were not.
We face significant property loss, along with the loss of all livestock and crops. We are just trying to overcome this difficult time caused by the flood.
Commune officers regularly patrol at night. They advise locals not to travel by boat, as it is dangerous.
We regularly patrol and assist people with any problems that arise during this flooding period. Currently, everyone is safe without any complex security issues.
Since the historic flood 6 years ago, households in the commune have built flood-proof houses. This helps the locals live with floods temporarily while waiting for long-term solutions.
implementing new regulations from the Law on Environmental Protection 2020, especially the Law on Water Resources that took effect in early July, many industrial production facilities are actively recycling and treating waste, including wastewater. These efforts are contributing to promoting a green circular economy.
This is a circulating cooling system used in acid production for fertilizer manufacturing at a factory under the Vietnam National Chemical Group, with an investment of about $197,000 USD. The cooling water does not come into direct contact with acid and is 100% recycled and reused, replacing the old production line. All industrial wastewater is also treated to standards and then maximized for reuse, bringing benefits of more than $79,000 USD per year.
The majority of waste is circulated and recycled without being discharged into the environment, ensuring no wastewater, no pollution, and energy savings.
The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, along with many localities, is implementing preferential mechanisms on capital and technology to promote investment in clean technology, reduce fuel consumption, and reuse water. These efforts aim to meet environmental regulations and improve the productivity and social responsibility of manufacturers.
Wastewater treatment directly affects our production. Foreign partners pay great attention to product origin, waste treatment, and environmental protection.
We urge, guide, and support production facilities to treat wastewater according to regulations. We also install technological equipment to monitor the environment, especially in facilities with large waste sources.
Strengthening solutions for thoroughly treating industrial wastewater, as well as reusing treated wastewater, has helped manufacturers develop sustainably while contributing to environmental protection.
Nearly 90,000 workers went abroad for work in the first 7 months of this year, reaching more than 70% of the yearly plan, according to the Ministry of Labor, War Invalids and Social Affairs. The ministry also said that it will continue to implement solutions to develop the labor market, maintain a stable labor force, and contribute to economic development, production, and business of enterprises. In the first 6 months of the year, the unemployment rate among working-age people was 2.27%, unchanged from the same period last year. The labor structure continued to improve. Nearly 120,000 enterprises entered the market, an increase of more than 5% over the same period last year, and this number was still higher than the number of enterprises withdrawing from the market. An exhilarating experience awaits locals and tourists at night at Hai Giang and Hòn Kho beaches in Bình Định province, where they can witness with their own eyes turtle laying eggs. To preserve the nesting grounds, the commune has established a special protection group to safeguard the turtles during their egg-laying season. These efforts have protected many baby turtles as they head to the sea.
When night falls, Sang, a member of the community group that protects aquatic resources in Nuen Hai commune, goes out to sea. He ensures that sea turtles coming ashore to lay eggs are safe. Diligently checking each nest, he moves those that sea tides are likely to sweep away. Tonight, he continues to support baby turtles that cannot hatch on their own.
This nest is near the water's edge, so the high tides can wash it away. This fourth nest, the last one, is quite far from the sea, so we leave it alone.
Since 2021, Nuen Hai commune has regularly recorded green turtles, which are listed as endangered, coming ashore to lay eggs. Since April this year, the Nuen Hai Aquatic Resources Protection Community Group has observed 2 green turtles laying eggs 5 times, totaling over 500 eggs. 2 egg nests with 104 baby turtles have hatched. Sang's group has protected and released them into the sea while carefully monitoring the 3 remaining nests.
It's rare to see plastic bags floating in our waters. The clean environment keeps turtles coming back. These days, tourists often see turtles in the sea, which is a positive sign for the locality.
We'll continue strictly protecting the remaining turtle nests as part of our conservation efforts. We will keep releasing turtles into the ocean.
Nunhai Commune is currently working on protecting sea turtles laying eggs, aiming to increase the number of baby turtles hatched and successfully reaching the sea. Additionally, Binding has developed projects to protect coral reefs, sea turtles, and marine ecosystems associated with tourism development along its 12-hectare coastline. The province is planning to introduce visits to sea turtle nesting grounds in the near future.
The Hoi An basket boat ride experience has been ranked among the 25 most popular boat rides in the world, according to TripAdvisor. Specifically, the basket boat experience in Cẩm Thanh Coconut Forest, Hoi An City, ranked number 19th in the top 25 most attractive boat experiences for tourists worldwide this year. Participating in this experience, tourists will sit in a basket boat and enjoy the fresh air of a rural area away from the urban hustle. The boat rowers will take you drifting on the water, weaving through lush green coconut groves and sharing stories about the area's history. Along the way, tourists will also learn how to make items from coconut leaves, watch basket boat dancing, participate in boat races, cast fishing nets, and listen to traditional Quảng folk songs. Among the top 25 most interesting boat experiences, Vietnam is also represented by the kayaking experience. Coming up next in our world news, Hamas political leader killed in Iran. And a blood test fastens time, increases accuracy of Alzheimer's diagnosis. Hamas political leader ISMAIL HANIYEH has been killed in Tehran, Iranian state media reported on Wednesday. His death is a significant blow to the Palestinian militant group, removing a key figure who led its political operations. Iran's Revolutionary Guards confirmed the death of HANIYEH. He was killed in his residence in Tehran along with Iranian bodyguard. The Israeli military said it was conducting a situational assessment, but had not issued any new security guidelines for civilians. No individual or organization has yet claimed responsibility for the incident. The attack took place early Wednesday morning. HANIYEH traveled to Tehran to attend the swearing-in ceremony of Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. HANIYEH, 62 years old, was elected head of the Hamas political bureau in 2017. He was already well known, having become Palestinian prime minister in 2006. UN Special Coordinator Jeannie Hennis-Plasschaert expressed concern over Tuesday night's strike claimed by Israel in the densely populated southern suburb of Beirut. The strike led to multiple civilian casualties. The UN called on all parties to exercise restraint amid escalating tensions, urging diplomatic avenues to end hostilities. Earlier in the day, the Israel Defense Forces claimed that it had killed top Hezbollah commander Fuad Shork in an airstrike in Beirut. One person was killed and 68 were wounded in the attack. The military said it killed the Hezbollah commander in retaliation for a deadly rocket strike in the Golan. The attack killed 12 people and wounded several on Saturday. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has denied involvement in the attack. The Lebanese prime minister condemned the Israeli strike on Beirut, calling it a blatant violation of international law. He also called on the international community to hold Israel accountable and end the violence. New blood tests could help doctors diagnose Alzheimer's disease faster and more accurately, researchers at Washington University reported on Sunday. The new method will measure the accumulation of two types of proteins, tau and amyloid, to diagnose the disease. Alzheimer's is identified by brain clogging amyloid plaques, an abnormal tau protein that leads to neuron-killing tangles. According to the findings published published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, the blood test was 91% accurate compared to 61% accuracy of primary care doctors' initial diagnosis. This new method addresses the traditional need for hard-to-get brain scans or uncomfortable spinal taps. Researchers in Italy have developed a four-legged solution to the problem of cigarette butts on local beaches. Vero is a robot dog that uses AI to identify cigarette butts on the ground and sucks them up with vacuum cleaner attachments on each foot. More on this in the following.
This is Vero, or vacuum cleaner equipped robot. It's a robot dog that uses AI to identify cigarette butts on the ground and suck them up with vacuum cleaner attachments on each foot. Vero's developers hope it's the solution to one of the world's most pressing environmental problems.
I thought, why not place the feet in a good way that while you're going, you're doing something useful. We can quite easily distinguish what are cigarette butts, for example, and that's just a start.
Dr. Claudio Cimini is part of the design team at the Italian Institute of Technology in Genoa.
The Vero robot is really born out of almost a frustration of seeing how people are just flicking away and just leaving the cigarette butts on the beach, in the small alleys. And these are places where machines can't access, like, let's say, the cleaning vehicles that can clean the roads very efficiently and the squares. On these little hard-to-access areas, there must be a different way, because if people need to pick them up by hand, one by one, this is obviously not a solution.
Vero uses a camera system and an algorithm to recognize its targets and plan a route. The team says it's successfully collected approximately 90% of cigarette butts in diverse environments. But Cimini says it can also help in removing other objects and larger litter.
Now let's take a look at the weather update. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for watching. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4Go. Goodbye for now.